YouTuber. Your boy is back once again with another dating and relationships video. Okay, so the subject today. Once a hoe, always a hoe? Question mark. So if a girl is a hoe or a slag or a whatever you want to call them, once a hoe, always a hoe? Okay, before I give you my answer, you know I like to use comparisons. So let's just say there's two friends, Jack and Bob, right? So Jack and Bob are two friends. They like partying, yeah? So Jack used to sniff a lot of cocaine when he goes out partying. Bob has never done it, yeah? Right? So they get a bit older, they start going out less, yeah? They got a family and that, kids. But they're going to some old school reunion with some old friends. So they go out on some big night out. Jack don't take cocaine no more. He hasn't done it for a long time. Now, these old school friends that they meet up with, right? They got some cocaine. Everyone's doing some. They offer some to Jack and Bob. Jack has vowed never to do that again. Who's more likely to take the cocaine? Bob, who's never done it? Or Jack, who used to do it and said he will never do it again? Out of the two, Jack is more likely to do it because he's already done it. Forget the fact that he said he's not going to do it again. Now, hear the key word. Out of the two, he's more likely to do it. Not saying he definitely will. He might stand strong. But obviously, while he's drinking alcohol, it might impair his decision making. Yeah? So he could go back to do it. It might get him back into doing it regular. It might just be that one-off time and he gets annoyed the next day and say, I wish I didn't do that. I said I was never going to do that again. But he's more likely to do it out of the two because Bob's well into adulthood now. He never done it when he's younger. He's going to take the usual stance. I'm not interested in doing any of that. Whereas Jack, he don't want to do it. But, okay, so now let's bring it back how this applies to girls. How this applies to girls, yeah? Now, if let's just say a hypothetical situation. You're single. You're seeing two girls, yeah? Right? Let's just say these girls know that you're dating other females. Don't need to know all the details that you're having sex with them or not. They just know that, you're just seeing that, so she knows you're seeing her. Let's use some names. Keisha knows you're seeing Keisha. She knows it's not a relationship and she knows you're open to dating other girls. She don't know who you're sleeping with or if you're sleeping with. Now, Becky is the same thing. Becky knows that you're just seeing each other and it's not a relationship, so you might be dating other girls. Cool. Now, right? Right, so you're choosing between Keisha and Becky, yeah? Now, you're like, now, take this with a pinch of salt because we're not talking about on this video whether you should get into a relationship with a female or not. So this is not the key thing here. Let's just say you're a relationship type guy. You feel like both of these girls could be wifey, right? But you're into Becky just that bit more. But then you find out Becky cheated on a couple of her previous boyfriends. Becky was even known as a slag, but that was a long time ago. And she's not hiding it. She said to you, yeah, I've done this and that as well, yeah. But that was a long time ago. Now, again, this video is not about whether girls tell the truth or not, but let's just say Keisha has not done anything like that, and she says that, and you like, let's just say you've known her for a while, and no one knows her to be a slag or a hoe. Now, if you was to choose between these two girls to be your loyal girlfriend, if that's your thing, then Keisha is going to be the best bet, even though you like Becky a bit more because, right, some people say once a hoe, always a hoe. Right, so me, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm not saying that's not the case. It depends on the person, and it depends on two things. It depends on the person, and it depends on what situation they're in. Yeah? So, the verdict, is it true once a hoe, always a hoe? My answer is, it depends. And the world is not black and white. A lot of these questions, yeah, it's not going to be a yes or a no answer. Because a girl could have been a hoe, a slag. And then she's cleaned up her act. But it can come back to her. I'm sure if there's a gangster, yeah, who is in a gang, right, and has killed many people, that's just the life they grew up with. I'm sure that for most people in gangs who have killed many people, I'm sure the first person they killed, there might have been some hesitation, or they might have been very uncomfortable. 5, 10, 15 killings down the line, it's nothing. They might, for example, this is just an example. I'm just using an example that comes to the top of my head. They might go to jail, find Jesus, or, find Islam or whatever, and swear that they're not going to do that again. But when they come out of jail, if they get into another, confrontation situation, it will be easier for them to kill than the man that is well into his adulthood, that has never ever been close to any gang life and much less for killing anyone. Do you get me? So it's not once a slag, always a slag. It's once a slag, more likely to relapse, more likely to reoffend, if I can say it that way. Do you get me? So number one, yeah, because I've done a video before, never turn a hoe into a housewife or a slag into a housewife. I can't remember. I'm going to look for the video and I'm going to put the link in the description, yeah? So I've spoke about that in a video before. So I'm not saying, just because I'm saying it's not definite that once a slag, always a slag. Obviously, it's almost like, let's say you're an employer. There's two people. Let's call them Fred and Jim, right? So Fred and Jim, they both applying for a job. They both send the employer the CV. The employer is looking at the CVs. Now, Fred's experience and qualification is just that much better than Jim's, yeah? But Fred has been dismissed from one of his jobs. Let's just say 2 of his jobs, yeah? So although he's just that much bit better than Jim, you want to take on Jim because you want a trustworthy person in your company. Or let's just say Fred is way better than Jim, but Fred has got a criminal record. You might take Jim for just because you see him as more trustworthy. Okay, this guy, he's got his, he's got his qualifications and experience. He's definitely the best. But let me take the number 2 guy, Jim, because this top guy, he's got a criminal record. Yeah. He might be perfect, but the employer doesn't want to take that risk. That's why doesn't matter what girl's cleaned up her act, whether she's a hoe now or she used to be a hoe 10 years ago. Be careful. Be careful. Yeah. Right? So once a hoe, always a hoe? It depends. It depends on the person. It depends on the situation. An ex-slag may vow that she's never gonna act hoish again. Or a girl that's been cheated on boyfriends before may say, I'll never cheat on a boyfriend. But the wind might change. Someone's money, someone's mental health, something might change. Yeah? You can't believe what people come out of their mouth. Protect yourself, guys. Don't get into no relationship with no slags, yeah? And listen, but at the same time, you can't judge someone now from something that's happened way in the past. So, unfortunately, you're not going to get a clear answer that you want. You need to do the brain work with every female you encounter with. And to all you relationship guys out there, don't be jumping into a relationship just because how sexy or pretty the girl looks, or just because of how good they make you feel about yourself. That's it. Like the video if you like the content. Comment below if you agree or disagree on what I said, and subscribe so that you can get notifications about when I post a next dating and relationships video.